Ashkeepers Legacy is a real tabletop RPG show for adults who choose to never grow up. But that does mean our shenanigans may not be appropriate for younger viewers and listeners. From colorful words to emotional highs and lows to fart and phallic jokes, we will hit it all. So please enjoy responsibly, like coffee or beer or buying dice. Welcome to the show.
Greetings, friends and fellow gamers. Welcome back to Detention Gaming. This is episode 18 of the Ashkeepers Legacy, our D&D campaign. Please, if you don't mind, like the video, subscribe, share a comment, share with a friend, and we greatly appreciate the support. To continue to do this and share our story with you and our shenanigans. So, without further ado, we're just gonna get right back into the recap of Session 17, the previous episode, and then we're going to dive right back into the game. So, last time on Ashkeepers Legacy, our hero celebrated another successful training exercise with food and drink at the tavern. The party spent their downtime going about the grove, running errands, speaking on some serious topics, and preparing for another night's watch. Other than bonding and ordinary shenanigans, taking to the night's watch, they all witness a flying ship leave from beneath the lake, surfacing in a giant bubble. Asking around, learned of a well-kept guild secret about the Spelljammer.
We know nothing.
Used to travel to the moon and beyond. The watch, otherwise, uneventful with some friendly competition and betting. Adora had another vision of melting stone and a cloaked humanoid walking through petrified victims, reduced to ash and cinders in the wind, wielding a lantern with a small dying blue light, melting the very grounds as they walked. The vision ends with Adora kind of being pulled back into the present on the wall towards the end of the watch, and Tom and Adora discussing what that vision is, what it could mean, if it's real or not, and if they should involve their parents. So we pick up there on the wall as both of you were discussing the potential threat that these visions could mean, if they mean anything at all. And that's where we pick up today's session.
Hey, rush over, it's fucking cold up here.
I think we need to tell the parents, but I think it should be your parents.
My parents.
Yes.
My parents.
Yes.
Not your parents.
No, definitely
Yours is more reasonable.
not. Yeah, but mine are in Theros, and that's far away, and yours are sometimes here, so
I
feel
mean,
like
technically, the closest parents we have are Armand.
Yeah, but
I don't.
do we want to go march up on the Salazar house right now?
I don't want. I'm not.
Oh,
I saw ozone layer earlier. I'm gonna guess no.
but why don't you want to talk to your dad?
I don't say I don't want to.
I just feel like that's our best bet. Instead of going to find Armand and then going to talk to Armand's mom. Especially after they just brought the princess.
There. Angus mistresses of his damn wall.
Why don't you go find your dad and I'll keep watch?
She's on outerwear that sucked you Adora's back. Yeah, see if Dad's around.
It's just his jacket hanging on my breast.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go here.
Yeah. So you're going to search for your father, and you're going to continue the rest of
I'm
the
going to
watch by
continue
yourself.
watch and just contemplating everything that I saw and like going over the details.
And if memory serves right, because I think we're jumping back more into like the middle of y'all's watch, not the very end.
Right.
You both were still out and about after your watch because you had gone to the Salazar house,
Mm-hmm.
talked about the seeing the spaceship, the Spelljammer,
Yeah, yeah.
and were told by Yolanda how it's a secret and you promised to keep it and not spread this among any of the guild people.
She said that we could tell them, right?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
said the four of you, so meaning, the party.
And that was our goal.
Because you
was
all
to go
saw it,
out
because you
and tell
told
them.
her that they saw it as well.
Yeah, so we're like on our way to go tell them then.
Yeah, so y'all were heading back in that direction. Okay, cool. So, Akhenaton,
Mm-hmm.
where to begin for the search?
Obviously, the tavern.
Okay, so heading into the tavern, middle of the night, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Let's go 7.
7.
You
Keep
get
your head in the tavern, cold, kind of like stepping in, shaking off the snow off of your legs and your body. And,
Steam cloud just goes the tavern.
yeah. You look in and it's actually really quiet, and for the first time in a long while, you don't see like anybody working the counter. You do hear what sounds like Sam maybe in the back cleaning things, but it's the middle of the night, so
Hey, Kuan!
you see the large keg in the corner that otherwise would have been perceived as an inanimate object just kind of like stands up and like turns around, just kind of like looks over in your direction.
1. Hot toddy.
So he just kind of looks over and like snorts out a hot toddy in a cup for you.
Oh. Much better. 2. Haven't seen my old man around.
You just see the giant keg just and you hear the liquid inside shake and move, just shakes no.
Go. Back outside, checking the island.
Just kind of nods and just kind of goes back over, just kind of and sits back down in his kind of designated spot. You take back out into the cold. Do me a favor, make another perception check as you step outside.
Hey, a little better. 9.
9. As you step outside, you actually see 2 humanoids kind of briskly walking in the direction of where you just came from. Heading towards the tower, and you see Armand and Vivian just walking in the direction where you just came from.
What are you doing?
Look for my head. Adora had one of her visions, and it sounded, above our pay grade.
And you just left her on the tower.
Is she alright?
I'm trying to find my dad. She's fine. She says she recommended I go find my dad. Because it's either I find my dad or I wake that one's parents up.
Oh, she's already awake.
I thought I smelled it somewhere.
Watch it.
Hey, you're still alive, so good job. Why are you red?
Why do you need to find your dad?
He's gonna be able to get a hold of the rest of the thing. And this sounds like in his family's wheelhouse. Fuck cold.
Vivian, you go back and check on Adora. I'll help him find his dad.
Yeah.
Let's go, goat.
Island.
Okay, so you both break off, head outside to the grove, passing through a gate on the other side, heading for the lake shore, and then you are heading to the wall to rendezvous with Adora, who's still there keeping watch.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So you eventually make it to the wall. You see Adora up there. You see Tom's coat kind of like still frozen / draped over the back of Dora's breastplate, and Dora's just up there. Go ahead and make a
I still have your
perception check
coat.
for me.
9.
9, okay. Don't really see anything that catches your eye, nothing out of the ordinary, nobody comes or goes from this gate. It's still the middle of the night, rather cold. Winter weather's kind of beginning to come back a little bit, but it's not horrible. You know, you're sheltered enough, you're by a large fire, you're okay. But yeah, you climb up the ladder and Adora is there.
Hey, I just ran into town. You okay? I heard about a vision. Why is his coat on your back?
We were trying something. He was
Okay.
cold. Yeah, there was a lot, and I don't think any of it's good.
What did you see?
I go into detail. No.
Can you recap that? Because that was last
Oh,
episode.
okay, I forgot.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, there was these people hunched over and petrified en masse, blown away like ash into the sky. Stone was melting like candles. Like wax on candles. And there's this hooded figure that I keep seeing holding a lantern that has blue flame in it. It seems like that flame is so hot that it melts everything that's around it without there actually being fire. And chains, heavy footsteps, chains. I just have this gut feeling something's not right.
Are you alright?
I don't know. I didn't know what the first vision was. The fact that it's happening again, and this isn't the second time, this is the third time. I don't know what to do.
And you never had visions like this before?
Never this way. I mean, you know, I have heard things that aren't there, but it's never been like this.
Should we talk to your moms about
No,
this?
we're not gonna talk to my mom's about this.
Adora, what if it's something that they know about? And
Well, that's why we're gonna talk to Pam. It seems Fae-ish, right?
I mean-
Melting walls.
Sure. You said before the other ones were Feywild?
Yeah, it seems that way.
Do you
This-
think it's something with the winter court again? Like,
I-
didn't our parents do something?
I don't think above table that I told anybody about the second vision that I had at the table.
I can't remember.
I don't think I did.
It's been a while.
I didn't tell anybody. But I had a vision before this one that wasn't the Phoenix one. And in that vision, I saw somebody who looked like Pan or Tom or some sort of satyr.
So why are we talking? If you saw a pan and it wasn't a good one, a good
That
version.
vision wasn't like this one, but it was still vivid enough that I think they're all tied together somehow.
But if it wasn't a good version, why are we gonna go to him?
Because if I saw him in the vision, he might know something about what I'm being able to see.
Oh, I'm having a bad muscle spasm.
Ryan, you got this.
Oh, I know. Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah. Sorry, can't take you. Hopefully we can
All I
edit
know is we
that
can't
out.
go to my mom.
Okay, I trust you. Are you sure you're okay? Can I do anything?
I think just believing me one helps. Makes me not feel crazy.
Think you're crazy.
Sometimes I think I might be.
Yeah.
You hear very softly, like from the distance, can you?
Oh my god!
bust down those fucking doors.
I'd make him
It's
a-
copyrighted.
I'm joking. Oh my god.
Oh.
What are you still doing up anyway?
We went to see Armand's mom to figure out. Well, we went to go see my grandma, but that was a bust because she was coming back from the hunt, and my grandfather's a terrible liar. You know that.
Yeah. There's
Turns
no-
out.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Turns out the ship that we saw earlier.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that there was a ship that
Yeah.
came out of the lake.
It's a sworn guild secret. It actually goes through. It's called a spelljammer. It goes up into the stars and goes to different, like, powder. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but it's real. And there's a captain. There's a team, and they're all secret and private. Like,
And we're just talking about it willy-nilly on the wall right now.
they're trusting us to keep our memories, or else we're going up to Locke and getting them wiped if we tell anyone else. But the four of us can know, but we can't tell anybody else.
Alright, sounds good.
But yeah, that's why I'm still up, and then we ran into town on our way to come back and relay everything to you guys. Yeah. Oh, and we also found Hugo. He was hanging out with Mercy and a few others by the Salazar house. Did I say it right? Salazar house, and just getting drunk. I mean, everything seemed pretty normal there, so
I mean, it's Hugo, so.
yeah. But yeah,
Him and Mercy, I think?
I don't think so now. Want to know a secret?
Of course.
Armand kissed Mercy
On the lips?
No, on the forehead.
Oh.
Um,
Still, that's...
It was a interesting moment to witness. She didn't push him off though, so.
Kid's grown up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and we jump back to both of you heading along the lakeshore. As you're traversing the lakeshore and pass under one of the trees, some snow falls and drops on Tom's head and drips off like candle wax.
Can you keep your whimpering to a minimum, please?
I am literally not built for this shit.
But you see the floating island out on the lake, and it's frozen in place, so you could literally walk out to it.
Sliding.
Yeah. No.
I just
Yeah.
kind
The
of like
little
ice.
hoops, like...
Yeah.
Just kind of like ice skate.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you get there. Go ahead and make some perception or investigation checks, please.
Ooh, nat 20, bitch. And with
13.
perception, that is a 23.
Nice.
13.
13. From what you can see, the island, you'd spend some time there, especially when the weather's better. It's kind of just, doesn't seem like there's any use. You don't see Pan anywhere. You don't see anybody. You don't see any of your siblings. They occasionally will stay, especially when they visit. Usually there'll be candlelight or firelight, especially in the colder months. Yeah, it's dark, it's quiet, empty, other than, some critters that might be scavenging through some stuff or like scraps of food, like a raccoon or something. There's nothing out of the ordinary. I will say, with a natural 20, you notice tracks on the ice coming and going from the island. And the tracks are akin to Tums. They appear to be like cloven hoof, scrapes across the ice.
I think you're definitely going that way.
That way it is. This I can do. I can survival.
Yeah, so go ahead and make some survival checks.
You wanna help me? Give me a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Try to stop her. technically, it's average.
15?
13.
13, okay.
I rolled 2 10s.
Okay.
So, where's my average?
You follow the tracks across the ice, and when he gets in the snow, you see more defined hoof prints.
Okay.
You see, like, the snow mound's going to go up into the forest and the trees, and as you kind of reach the tree line and enter into the forest, there's this kind of, you hear this sudden dribble of, like, hail as it starts to melt the nearby ice and everything. And you're just following the tracks, and you know where this is going, Tom. You know that this is heading to the nearby Fey Crossing, which raises a question in your mind. You know your dad can innately planeswalk, can plane shift when and where he wants to go. He can use the Fey Crossing, but he's not really needed to in years with that Fey ability or that arcane ability within him to do that. So yeah, you kind of find that interesting, and you know, you travel with your dad a lot. You know, you've been in the Feywild, you've been in the Prime Material Plane. There's something about these tracks that I'll say are a bit different. It's definitely to a satyr, but it's not. You starting to think that maybe this isn't your dad's tracks that you're following.
Just grab Armand, watch my steps. Follow me. Do as I say. And I mean that. This is gonna get weird. Don't question anything. Don't touch anything. Don't accept anything. Don't take anything. Don't touch anything.
Okay.
You feel the glory chaser kind of humming the sheet, and as you kind of like check in telepathically, you're like, okay, so that was a lot to digest. You're a bold one going in for the kiss like that. And all the tea you were talking with Vivian about. This was, I must say, this has been one interesting night, and now we're frolicking into the forest to track some devious infiltrator. I'm very proud of you.
I'm trying so hard to keep a straight face.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're doing great. Follow the trail, listen to him.
Yeah.
And if things get crazy, don't be afraid to fight back.
Well, things get
I'm right
crazy.
here if you need me.
Yeah, things get crazy. You better be ready.
Oh, I was made ready.
Yeah, let's do this, boy.
Yeah, all right. You notice Armand
Stop touching your
sword.
No, I think
Focus.
it's telepathic.
Oh, that's right, telepathic. My bad.
Yeah, but you
Right, we
probably.
established that it was a telepathic and like you're not verbally
I just
responding.
imagine
Yeah.
around like
Okay.
unsheathes and then like
No, yeah, it's very much like you have to really kind of think about it. Like, yeah, it's
literally-
subtle, but like if someone's like, you
It's
know,
literally
it's just
like
you
I
and
have to
Tom.
do this and like dissociate while I
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't like walk and talk to him at the same time. I have to like look up in the air.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done, I continue walking.
Cool. All right.
I fucking love this guy so much.
All right. You both continue onward, and eventually, you. Oh, darkness!
darkness.
Darkness!
We're about to
Hold on. Stand by.
Tom and Armand are about to die, y'all. It's
Rocks fall. You die.
You reach the Fey Crossing. Darkness.
Oh crap! Because I
Let
work.
there be light.
This is hell. It's fine.
It'll be a lot brighter and a lot warmer. I prefer it.
Damn.
That was crazy.
I always wanted that to happen
Look,
while we were
You know,
filming.
yeah.
I love that.
Technically,
Make sure you're
really-
alive. You know. Make sure.
Gotta keep us on
Everyone's
our toes.
Yeah,
awake.
keep you on your toes. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know, midnight go puff run anyone?
Go Puff doesn't deliver here.
No?
No.
Damn.
Party foul.
Oh.
It's fine, it's black.
There's napkins up over there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're good. Sorry about that. We're back. So you're approaching this clearing.
Uh-huh.
You see covered in snow this massive old oak tree, and all the leaves can kind of fallen off of it. bare branches, and you notice that there's kind of this like knot in the wood that's like opened up this large cavity into the tree, and you know this to be the Old Oak Crossing. This is a Fey crossing that will take you into the Feywild.
And puts her my sword, grabs the knot and twists it. To activate the crossing.
And you just watch as like the wood kind of splinters a bit. There's like this hum that sounds like a bunch of bees buzzing, and you watch as like tree sap begins to drip out of the tree and just coats the inside of the cavity, almost like drapes. As you watch as it drips away, and you watch from inside of the tree, you see flower petals begin to kind of blow through as the sap parts, and you see into the Feywild.
Tom.
Yep.
If you get me killed, you know my mom's gonna kill your ass.
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Let's go.
Killing might be a mercy.
What did you just say?
Coach.
I genuinely didn't hear what
Killing you getting killed might be a mercy here sometimes.
Yeah, getting killed in the Feywild might be a mercy.
Oh, great.
Okay, so you both entered the Fey Crossing and enter into the Feywild.
Oh my gosh!
Bouncing back to the two of you on the wall.
We're just on the wall.
Keeping watch.
Even watch.
Mm-hmm.
Doing my job.
Damn. I think Vivian might be falling asleep a little bit during the watch, and is kind of like slumping a little bit. Still wearing Armand's coat, just going.
I'll take Pan's jacket off.
Jar.
Every time.
Oh, you did it! Nice. There's lots of talk to Pan.
Dollar in the pan jar.
I'll take Tub's jacket off my breastplate.
Who knows?
The
Maybe
back
it
of my
was once
breastplate.
Pan's
It
coat.
might have been. It might have been Pan's.
Maybe it was Pan's coat. Give it to Tom.
And I will go over to Vivian as she's like shivering and like put it on her like a blanket, and then go back to the fire and keep watch.
Okay.
I'll probably like wake up a little bit. I'm up.
Sleep. You already did your watch.
Yeah, but Tom hasn't come back yet, and I can't leave you on your own.
I'll be fine. You should get some sleep.
Tonight's just been weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can like fully sleep.
Well, at least move closer to the fire. Shut up.
Stormtroopers will bust down that fucking door,
Ooh.
and they will attack us. Disney, come for us.
Okay.
If you're stormtroopers, you're gonna miss.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Stormtroopers then.
I shimmy closer to the fire. How much longer is left on watch?
Until dawn.
Yeah, you probably got like 2.5 hours left. You're risking exhaustion if you stay up.
Get some sleep. If you're gonna stay, at least try and sleep.
Just wake me up if you need backup.
I promise.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll just continue my watch, but I'll glance to make sure that like she goes to sleep. And then I'll probably watch her for a little bit before going back to my watch.
Okay. While you're keeping watch and being vigilant, you notice that there is a flash from the Locke's arcane tower from within the grove. And you know that flash basically is a teleportation circle being activated. And as you're kind of keeping an eye on this, kind of looking over the wall, over the gate, you watch Vizar just comes walking out, Vivian's brother. You see him dressed in his more casual, less school uniform, his horns coming up, his shorter hair, his draconic tail kind of behind him. He's carrying some books. And you see he kind of looks around and shivers, and he speaks in draconic, and you watch as fire ignites into his hand as he walks. And he's just walking through the snow, and you see he heads in towards the tavern and walks inside.
Under my breath, I'm like, oh shit, at sleeping Vivian.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the tavern where Vizar just went into. V. Not like if do you want to sleep or do you want to? If somebody came, would you want to know, or would you want me to wait till morning to tell you?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Your brother's here.
She pops up. I pop up. Like, what do you mean? Where?
He's in the tavern.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. He just there was a flash, and I think the teleportation circle was activated. And I saw him walk across. I didn't say anything, but he went towards the tavern.
She shimmies down the hall.
Okay, goodbye.
Wait. Call for me if you need anything.
Just go.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. If it was, and then I paused. Just go.
Thanks.
Okay. You like shimmy down the ladder and go, and you see the tracks. You see like your dad. He has more draconic dragonborn-like feet, so you see his like claw prints in the snow as he walks barefoot. And his draconic sorcery has exaggerated some of his more dragonborn-esque traits. So you see kind of like where his tail was dragging, and he's walking. You can tell like you can see where he walked to.
Yeah.
Like you're literally following his tracks, and
I think she runs now, seeing
Okay.
that he's here too.
yeah. Or no, this is
Just
Vizar's feet.
Oh,
I was
okay,
describing in relation
Yeah.
of how they're similar to Val's.
Well, she still runs.
Yeah. But yeah, you run into the tavern, and as you run into the tavern, door goes flying open. You see him standing there, and you see him backed against a wall with this very large cloaked individual with an arm over, like, above him, towering over him, and you see Talos. You see Adora's brother, cloaked. You see him, he's kind of looks a bit battle hardened, like adrenaline has been spiking, but he currently has very intimidatingly has an arm up against the banister, and Vizar's holding his books, looking really confused as he's questioning him. You see Sam is poked his head out and is just kind of watching what's going on. And you see they're just talking with each other, and as you walk in, you see Vizar kind of looks at you and sees you, and you see Talos' face just kind of turn look in your direction, and he kind of takes his arm down, looks, and massive human half giant frame, rolling toned shoulders and body, his head is barely not touching the support beams in the tavern. Huge dude. And you just kind of see his chiseled jawline and his Therosian tan, and he just kind of looks in very broodingly and looks over towards you. And we're gonna cut back to the Feywild.
What the
God!
Wait, is Talos taller than Adora?
Talos is big.
Big.
What the fuck?
Shit's hitting the fan, guys. What's going on?
Oh my god, I have a bad feeling about what's gonna happen.
Where are we? Stand by. I'm doing the thingies.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh no. Okay.
It's pink.
The colors change. It's great. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Everything is not fine.
It's not fine. We're gonna die.
Shit.
The light's darkening wasn't open.
Maybe not. So the two of you entering through the Old Oak crossing, walk out into this. The sunshine hits your face. It's the middle of the day, or days. Time works differently here. You smell the pollen and the sweet scent of flowers as the petals kind of just brisk past you in the wind. or blow past you in the wind, and it's a welcome, sweet, warm, inviting, just presence as you enter into this field. And you see there are some other like little specks of light and motes that are like darting around, and like globules of like ooze-like creatures on trees that are like cleaning off the bark and like eating moss. And there's, you know, all manner of fey-like creatures that are climbing over rocks or like jumping or buzzing like to flower. And it's very lively, very busy. You're very accustomed to this. For you, it's always
visibly
when you cross.
taller, she's more coming. Ah, okay.
Yeah, and you like shake off the snow and everything, and like even the sun as it hits you, the temperature hits you, like any snow that's on your shoulders or head or clothing kind of like instantly starts to melt away. But when crossing for you, Armand, it's always kind of a little disorienting. You kind of like find your sea legs, if you will.
Like walking on a boat.
Kind of, yeah. Like, you know, you're kind of a little nauseous, but you kind of find your bearings and take a few deep breaths, and it's weird because you almost feel like you're in a dream, but you're not. You feel like all your senses are kind of dialed way up. And yeah, you're standing in the Summer Court lands. You're not in any specific domain right now. This is just kind of a crossroads, if you will, in the Feywild. You see that there are some Fey markings in the tree that you just came from that kind of like show and are more hidden of like, if you've used this crossing before to come here and hang out. But yeah, you unfortunately don't have any tracks anymore. You're in a flower patch essentially, and you just see the trees in the distance, and every so often when you blink, it's like a mirage. Like mountains in the distance kind of become rock structures that are much closer, and forests that seem very far away kind of all of a sudden after blinking, it's like the trees are kind of like shifting or moving in directions. It's, you know, it's the Feywild. Things are a little bit trippy here, so. But you know you're not too far away from Lily's Grove, and you know that based on, you know, your Fey instincts, you get a good sense of direction as you traverse it.
Okay, take it, breathe. Breathe out, up now.
Never gets easier.
Oh, this is bad.
It's not. Ugh. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, choice. Oh.
Okay, so you begin making your way home.
Think of my way.
Go ahead and I will ask for a survival check, but I'm going to give you advantage.
Because you are home.
21.
Hell yeah.
All right, 21. Yeah, and you're following along, Armand. Sorry, I'm just trying to fact check something. As you're traversing, Armand, you notice that there are these moths that are kind of very active in this part as you're moving through the Feywild. You see like just kind of flying from the trees. At first you thought they were butterflies. You see they're actually more moths with like bright, like almost butterfly-like colors on their wings. They're flying around, and you see that there's like tiny strands of silk as they're like flying through the air. And you begin to notice, like looking in a direction, that there's a lot more silk, kind of like strands or like string draped tree to tree to tree to tree. And not Pan. I did it too. Akantum, you know one of your friends whose name is Silk. She's a daughter of an archfey that lives in the area not far from Lily's.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of, how to describe it? She's a very fate-based fae.
Oh.
Her strands and like her daughter Silk, and how she can manipulate, like, for lack of a better term, like, you know, the intentions and thoughts and memories of creatures, and how the fabric of reality is all stitched together, and being able to kind of knit that and like sew it. And she's a very powerful archfey, and you know you are wandering, because you have to, very close to her domain. she's not like evil, but there's something. She's not a hag, but it's very similar to like a hag type. Like she's very into making deals, offering insight. There is a genuine drive in her fey nature to help, but with that help comes a cost.
There always is a cost.
Yeah. But with that, you think that Silk could possibly be skulking around somewhere, who is a part of the Feywild friend group, and Silk is a Theocrine or an insectoid, and she is far less material plane like ant folk. She's actually has wings, and she's more moth-like in her humanoid fey stature. But yeah, her mother is known as the Fate Spinner.
Alright, so don't freak out. And kind of call out and do it. Oi, Silk, you spooky bitch, where you at?
Fuck did
Okay.
you just say?
Eventually, you kind of see some of the moths all just kind of begin to flutter into almost like a swarm. And they kind of begin to dance around the two of you, and they're very distracting, but you begin to feel the hum of something much larger buzzing in your direction. And you see coming out of the trees, landing on a nearby branch, you see and just kind of landing there. You see Silk, and she's got these large, like, moth-like eyes. You see her antenna. Huh?
Would I know who she is?
You've probably met her once or twice when you visited the Feywild, yeah. So this doesn't come as a surprise, but you see her multiple insectoid-like appendages that are a bit fuzzy, kind of like tucked up, and you see her wings kind of like fold in behind her, and they're beautiful. They're like fairy colors, and her antenna kind of like twitch for a second, and telepathically in your minds, it's just like, oh, you're back! It's great to see you both. What brings you here?
Looking for me now. He reaches into his bag, pulls out. Pulls out just some candy. And yeah, I know the cost. What? You see my old man come through here?
Make a persuasion check for me.
Is it in that one? Do you have any inspiration?
I do. I'm gonna have to pop it.
Alright. Using an inspiration.
That's better. 15 average for me.
Do you need new dice too?
These are my either been good or bad. I don't know. Like where did I start to think to change about? Hey, look, it's fine movie. Decent.
Spooky bitch. Spooky bitch.
That's so, aka spooky bitch.
Spooky bitch.
Seeing Death Head Moth.
Alright, so what did you get total?
15.
15. You see her head kind of tilt in her mind once again, kind of like a soft, kind of almost like a blanket kind of falls on the top of your head that's not there. Just kind of this soft, warm caress to the mind as her presence kind of extends out to the both of you. And she's like, oh no, I haven't seen your father, but I can tell you who has. And she just kind of like looks as one of her antennas just kind of like clicks.
Got another treat.
That is a very ominous statement.
You see she kind of like buzzes down, like lands in front of you both. And she's not like super tall in stature, she's just very lengthy, you know, very insectoid. And she just like walks over and holds out her hands for some sweets.
There's a treat.
She just kind of like looks at you both with, you know, you can't, she's an insectoid moth face, like there's no smile, you know, but you can sense that from her, just with her insights. She's like, my mother has and has seen. She's been keeping tabs on all of him. She just kind of nods and she starts eating some of the sweets.
All of him?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning there's more of him?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
He can do it. Yeah.
No. Use your words.
He can multiply himself.
So,
Did you not know?
no.
Oh,
Also, with he has to travel a lot, and with how time works, there's about a 50-50 shot you either get one of his copies or him, and if it is him, you have a 50-50 you have 50-50 chance of him being in the right timeline.
Oh no.
I think I
I
broke.
think you broke him. Yeah.
I have,
you broke
I have
him.
9 intelligence, so this is.
So I have a better group.
Wait. So
Time's a suggestion here.
does he like fall through time?
So currently in this, it's what? 2 times, it's what? 2 times, common, material plane speed, this location?
She kind of giggles like, I don't know such things. I never leave the Feywild, but if I would, my understanding of it is, I know that non-Fey are affected differently, and I know that our time is dependent on which part of the Feywild that you are crossing in or out of, and depending on how long you stay, could be longer or shorter when you get back. So, yeah, the truth is I don't know.
Wait, so your dad that was like serving us drinks the other night, was that your dad or was that like your dad from a different timeline?
Well, technically same timeline, just different points on the timeline. You have to go up with the guy.
You see Silk holds out some of the sweets. You see the other moths kind of flutter in and start kind of like eating.
You
away.
want to happen to know what your mom wants for or I can talk to where my dad is. 'Cause you know.
What?
You know, what's your mom want for that information? Can you warn me? Please?
I think it's better if you just find out for yourself. And she just kind of holds them out, and all the moths are just kind of like eating away and flying around.
The love good shit.
Oh, it is. Tom, do you think
You don't have to go to my mom, you know.
Like, do you think that's a good idea?
Unfortunately, no. But situation says otherwise. Alright. Thanks for your mom.
Splendid! And you see she just kind of like turns, and you see like there's just a bunch of silk that just kind of left on her hands from like all the moths flying around. She just like walks over to one of the trees and like wipes off on the bark and kind of shakes it, and she kind of goes into a hovers, her wings kind of like a fairy. She just hovers and kind of takes you both deeper into this section of the Feywild, which the flower petals and everything kind of begin to pull away, and it looks like you're entering more of like, they're not spiders, they're moths, but it's very much like spider webby, you know, just silk everywhere, right? It's less web, more strands. Like it looks like there's like these large hemp rope that's like silk that's all woven together, and almost looks like braided hair that goes like tree to tree to tree, and it like goes in and out of the trees and down into the ground, into the roots, and there's like sections where you can actually see the threads are just itty bitty tiny strands, but it looks like someone is meticulously sitting at different spots and is like actually like physically weaving them together and braiding them. But she buzzes onward as you both approach.
I don't like.
Could you cries?
Yeah, we'll call it that. I don't want to insult her though.
Why do you think I call her spooky beast?
You've known her longer than I have.
Trust me, this is the cave area.
Great.
What are you trying to make for smoking caterpillar?
There's a smoking caterpillar.
Public domain, actually.
But we're gonna cut back to the grove.
Oh shit.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, I'm on the wall.
You have no idea what's
You are-
happening.
Your hair back of your neck is standing on it for some reason. You don't know
got
why.
no idea what's happening.
Back into the stream.
Vivian, you are inside the entryway, literally door open, wind blowing in behind you as the snow and everything's kicking in, and it snuffs out a few of the candles, but the torches and fires are kept lit. And you see your brother standing there, and he looks kind of taken off guard and confused. He doesn't look like he's in immediate danger, but you see Talos towering over him, who's trying to invoke a more macho, intimidating display over him and looks towards you. And just kind of nods like, long time no see.
Yeah.
And he kind of like walks over with his heavy boots.
Do we have a problem?
Like, yeah. You seen Adora around anywhere? Got some family business.
Maybe, what were you doing with my brother?
Asking him the same question.
Against the wall?
Looks back. Was there a problem? And you see Vizar, he just kind of looks and he looks at you. And you notice that he's reaching down for, you know he
Vizar's?
keeps up, Vizar, he keeps a pouch. And in the pouches, there are different dragon scales that he keeps, and he uses different ones for different schools of magic for arcane focuses, kind of like a component pouch.
Yeah.
But his hand is in that, which means he was ready to pull something out to cast magic. So, while your brother's very charismatic. He's keeping his cool, but in a moment's notice, he was ready to
freaked
cast something.
I mean, I have an issue with you bullying.
He looks over and he looks back and holds his hands. He's like, no. I was not bullying Vizar. I would never. We grew up together. And he walks over and puts a hand on his shoulder, and Vizar's whole body's like, ugh. And he's like, yeah, right, yeah, no, but we're fine. We're fine. We're just talking. And he just kind of pats his hand and brushes it off of his shoulder. And Tyler just kind of backs up, gets some more space.
Adora's up on the wall.
He's like, thank you. That's all I really wanted to know.
Yeah.
He walks over and grabs an empty drink and just kind of downs it, and just kind of slams it back onto the table. He's like, it's good to see you. Keeping well?
I'm trying to.
It's a little cold out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really your style.
Nope. I prefer the sun and the islands and the beach back home.
So what are you doing here again?
Family business.
Milo. Buckler.
Buckler!
Buckler's defensively barking at Talos.
Buddies,
Buckler, we're
buddies,
good.
it's okay, buddies.
One of the cats meowed outside and he was sleeping, so I think it was
Woke him
Yeah.
up and startled him. It's okay.
You're okay,
Buddies, buddies.
It's okay.
So what are you doing
It's
here?
It's I know we grew up together, but it's personal. I'll tell you soon.
Okay.
I just need to talk to Adora.
Yeah. Well, again, she's up on the wall.
Thanks. And he just kind of nods and he goes to move through the doorway which you're standing in. So he waits for you to either come in or just move out of the way.
She eyes him for a moment
Mm-hmm.
to warn him silently that she's and just signal that she's not afraid of him, and kind of give a subtle, if you do touch my brother again, we're gonna have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
You got this. Wait.
14.
14. See, he just kind of nods. He's fairly stoic and hard to read, but
She
he
steps
nods
aside.
and then keeps it pushing. Kind of walks outside.
Yeah.
As his heavy footfalls as he walks out into the snow.
She looks to her, or I look to my brother. You okay?
He goes and sits down. He's like, what happened to this place? Hi, what? You haven't been answering my messages. I came to check. You weren't home.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm training.
Here?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've been in the guard.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I got a break from school, so I was just gonna pop in and check in and see how things were. Tensions seem bad, if not worse.
There's been a lot of weird things happening. recently. Kodlak retired.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Grandma's, like, taking over for him.
Oh, that honestly doesn't surprise me.
It surprised me when she showed up at our meeting.
Oh. What, she being too hard on you, like Dad?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So how are you?
Good. Collect some new scales to my collection. Working on my studies and my theses and whatnot. Things at Strixhaven are pretty good. I think I'm just I've kind of reached a precipice in my studies. I think I'm gonna go back home for good, and I'm gonna go study with some of the philosophers in a neighboring city. There's a school there. It's boring. You don't want to hear about all that. It's just studies and research and field work.
She cuts him off and she just hugs him.
You like impacts and he hugs you back very closely. He kind of like headbutts you with your horns, kind of clash like goats for a second. He's like, I did miss you. I know it's late. I'm surprised you're up. I was gonna try to find you in the morning, but
Like I said, it's been a bit of a crazy night. I played a double. Believe it or not. Probably gonna crash tomorrow. Well, today.
Yeah.
Later. I don't know. It's been a long night, but I'm really happy to see you.
yeah, it's great. It's great to see you too. Honestly, it's kind of nice to take some time off and just do nothing for a little bit.
What did he really want? Was that it?
I mean, he was truthful. He was just kind of a prick, more of a prick about it. But I just got here too, so I was like, it's the middle of the night.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see you. I didn't even
Adora's
see
here too.
Yeah. Adora's in the guard. We're in the guard with Armand, Economy. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Seems
should
like
stick
I'm missing out on all the fun.
Yeah, maybe if you hang out here, might be a little interesting.
Yeah, maybe at least until things, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
In a metaphorical sense, of course. He looks outside at the corner.
I really want to stay and, like, hang out.
No, you
Yeah.
should get some sleep.
I don't know, I want to check in and make sure she's okay, but,
Okay.
I mean, our house is still up and,
Cool.
I've cleaned, so, I mean, cobwebs are gone.
He squints his eyes like, you cleaned?
A lot's changed.
Cool. We can talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Brunch.
sounds good.
You do that sort of thing around here. And just kind of like looks around. It's like, is Sam still?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna go grab a quick snack and then I'll be at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you.
If you need me, and he like stops and he pulls out a sending stone in his hand. You see it has like a little dragon face on it.
I like the carving.
Thanks. Yeah. Don't feel free to, send for me. And he goes and like walks off. Kind of heads towards the kitchen. He's like, Sam! You see like Sam pokes his head out. He's like, hey, how's it going? He's like, that was kind of awkward. What happened? They start talking about what all had just happened. Back at the wall. Adora!
Eliza! And
Adora.
Peggy.
You are standing watch and you hear the footfalls. And you kind of like look over back into the grove and you just see the cloaked, large brooding form of your younger brother, Talos.
Younger?
Oh, Talos Onexus.
Adora
Who-
is the oldest.
You being the oldest sibling, he's definitely the largest. Technically, is he the youngest? No, he's the middle child.
Middle child.
He's the middle child. And he's standing there, just looking up at you through the hood, and he looks pissed.
I'm frozen. Like, not metaphorically. Like, just. Or not literally. Like, metaphorically frozen. Like, paralyzed, looking down at him. And I instinctively go to the sending stone in my pocket, and I squeeze it tight in my hand. And I'm just staring at him, and I don't. I'm just holding his gaze.
He looks up at you and he's like, "It's time to come home, sister."
And like the words don't come out of my mouth. And after a moment, I go, I think I'm gonna stay.
It wasn't a request. He's just yelling up at you so you can hear him.
I have duties here.
You are needed back home.
I'm not going back.
He looks at you and shrugs. He's like, "Can we do it the hard way?"
I look over the other side of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I look back at him. I look back at the other side of the wall. And I jump.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
Like jumping away from him. Like,
Yeah, you're jumping over the outside of the wall
Yeah.
into the snowbank and then out to wilderness, I
Yeah.
assume, right? Okay.
Inspiration!
Okay, inspiration, heroic inspiration.
Not 20.
Nat 20.
Holy fuck!
Superhero running.
Yeah.
That's a 27.
You're really fucking running.
You flip over the side, like you sheer panic, your adrenaline spiking. You roll over the side of the wall. You fall a good 30 feet down into a snowbank. I'm going to reduce the damage of this fall. So you take what would have been 21 points of damage to 10 as you and you like land in the snowbank and like you land. There's things under the snow. There's like the ground, the grass, the rocks and things.
We haven't.
And you're just like, oh, and you make the impact.
You did a short rest earlier.
We did a short rest earlier.
You did a short rest earlier, yeah.
That's like.
Yeah. No, and it's a pretty high fall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
so
on the top of
reduce
the
to 10.
wall. You like pick yourself up and you start running. And as you're running, you just see Talos, he like gripped the side of the watchtower and he was like climbing the outside of it, like climbed up the ladder, and he has reached the top where you were, and you see him just standing there looking at you running as you were fleeing out into the wilderness.
Just running.
And you just see his cloak standing there as you know, it gets smaller and smaller in the distance. He's not jumping over, he's not trying to pursue, but you see him run. And go ahead and make a perception check for me as you kind of get further and further out. 10. You see, like, you can barely make out his face, but you notice that there's a slight smile, like a smug smirk on his face. And you kind of have a flashback to when you were kids. He's giving you a head start as he and lands and rolls and like buckles under his weight, distributing it on the fall. He kind of brushes it off and starts sprinting after you. And you see your foot falls in the snow as you're trudging through and you're cold and you're making it to the edge of the tree line as you're just racing past, scraped by tree branches and everything. And you're just running. Anywhere in particular you're going, or you're just booking it. Okay, go ahead and make
sheer panic.
Yeah, go ahead and make another athletics check for me.
20.
Nat 20?
No. Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, you're running and And as you reach the tree line, you look back and you don't have visual out in the clearing anymore. So you don't know if he's gaining on you, you don't know if he's maintaining distance or if you're outrunning him, but you know, you're slowed down and you're breathing hard and you're fighting through the thicket and you kind of fall and stumble and catch yourself and you like splash into like a half-frozen creek and climb up over it and like you're just passing through trees and trees and trees and you're pushing your body as far as you can go and you don't know where you are, you're getting lost, you're disoriented, you're not thinking straight. You find a place to kind of catch your breath, you're listening, it's just quiet. You hear the wind, there's some snow, there's some hail, but it's kind of just absence of noise. It's a very quiet night. You think that you're maybe an hour away from sunrise. But yeah, you don't hear, you hear him coming. You think you outrun him or maybe he's just slower paced than you. He gave you a head start. So what do you do?
I'm breathing heavy, and my adrenaline's going, my heart's pounding in my chest, and I'm still clutching the stone in my hand that I had grabbed earlier. It's just like I'm white knuckling it, and I look down at it, and I raise it up, and I speak into it, like, Sandra, I need you to answer me. Please answer me. Gods, answer me. I need you. Please. Talos is here, and I just need to hear your voice. And I put the stone.
You hear her voice come through.
And I'm not saying that into the stone, I'm just saying it out and waiting to hear more. And I'm shaking.
You don't hear anything else. That definitely was not the wind.
Sandra?
You kind of begin to hear you begin to kind of hear Talos gaining in the distance and is like powering through the thicket, breaking branches, and is like, he's catching up.
I look for the tallest tree I can find.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
22.
Damn.
22. You look, you find a very tall tree, pretty densely packed, has pines on it still and snow compact on it. You like run over to it, and it's a sizable tree. It's a larger one. I assume you each are going to climb.
Yep. I pocket the stone,
Yeah.
dip my hands in the chalk,
Yeah.
and I just go to climb.
Go ahead and make an athletics check for me. Climb this tree.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You go over to the tree using your chalk. It's a tree. There's a branch. You climb so many trees over time. But again, the adrenaline spike. You're cold, but you're warm at the same time. The stress of everything. You're climbing the tree. You're trying to compile your thoughts. You get up high enough that you just kind of settle, and you see Talos following listening out. You realize that in this moment, he is like, looks a bit more frantic now. He like looks, and you see that confidence kind of drains from his, very defined, like chiseled features. You see him frustrated. He just looks over. He literally goes and grabs a tree, and like throws it into another tree, just raging and yelling out, and goes and picks up a stone. Where are you, coward? And he's just picking up and throwing shit, and he's too emotional to realize your tracks lead to that tree. But a tree much younger than the one you were in, he just uprooted with his bare hands and chucked it at another one. And you see him looking around. He's like, "Gods, I will find you, Adora. Wherever you are, I will find you." And he's just looking around desperate. He's like, fuck. And he's looking around, and he looks to the sky, and you see he almost looks up at you, but you're kind of hidden enough in the snow and dense pine. He's looking up to the sky, and you see he's like looking, and you notice that it's close to sunrise. You're like less than an hour away, like towards the end of the watch. He's frantically looking. He's like, fuck! He looks back, and he looks back at the tracks, and he like doubles back, and he starts moving back from where he came, like begins circling around. He's like, "I will find you!" And you see just yelling that out into the forest, and like some birds kind of fly and scatter, and like he's just a fucking wrecking ball going through. Like he's not letting anything get in his way. But you are up in this tree and have a moment to catch your breath and digest all of that.
I just like collapse back against the trunk of the tree. And I like look down at the stone in my hands. And I'm trying to catch my breath. And I just start to cry. And I just sit in that tree and silently cry until it's silent.
Vivian, you are going to check on Adora.
Yeah.
You climb back up to the guard outpost. Nobody there. Make an investigation or perception check for me.
Uh, 18.
18. You see the tracks. You see both sets of tracks of Talos and what look like Adora's tracks going over the side of the wall. You see the impact from the other side. You see what looks like blood. You see what looks like like scuff marks of like, you know, heavy impact, right? And you see two pairs of boot prints going off into the field, into the nearby wilderness. And in the distance, you have fairly good vision, and you know you're used to like looking at nature and seeing like anomalies, right? That aren't necessarily a natural occurrence in nature. You see like a division in the tree line at a certain point where the tracks go, and you're like, your heart almost stops a second, and you feel this realization of like, oh no, what happened? But yeah, you're at the top of the wall with that information.
She takes out the stone and she calls to her brother.
Uh-huh.
I think I actually need your help. I'm at the wall.
Moments, and it's just like, there's like, yes, of course, I'm on my way. Right, and like, that's it. And in a few moments, you see him kind of running up, and he like looks up to you. He's like, "What's going on?"
Adora's gone and wouldn't have left her post.
Okay. He like goes up and like joins you up there, and he looks, and you see he pulls out a scale. You see it's like a silver scale, a dragon scale, and there's like draconic like etched on it. And like holds it up in his hands, and his eyes spark almost like the oil slick of like metallic silver. And he starts speaking in draconic, and he begins to cast locate creature. And gets nothing in the area effective the spell. And he looks around. He's like, and the scale drops, and the arcane fades. He's like, okay, she's not nearby. He like clocks the tracks as well, and he kind of looks. And he's like, okay, well.
I just didn't want to go away.
Okay, yeah.
Talos looked pissed or whatever.
Yeah, I was worried about that. He goes and he grabs a different scale, and you see he pulls out a blue scale, and he speaks draconic, and he casts Featherfall on you and him, and you both step off, and you kind of feel the just kind of buoyancy as you both land in the snow below, and he starts taking off running with you into the wilderness. You kind of see in the distance like trees you see birds just like fluttering out from tree lines, and you occasionally think you see like a tree almost move, or like there's strong winds, but it's moving against the wind. Not with your passive insight or nature survival or whatever you want to use. You can see that there's something going on in the distance. So both you and Vizar are just booking it across this frozen field to the tree line. You get there. You can kind of hear yelling in the distance. You just hear the screaming, and you just hear, "Where are you?" And it's just echoing out in this like valley of trees and thicket that then goes out. You know, there's another clearing on the other side. There's more patches of trees and things in this wilderness area. And you can hear Talos like yelling out. It's like, "Where are you? I'm gonna find you. I don't have time for this." Like, you just hear this like kind of repeated, almost like almost like he's, you know, a playback. It's just on repeat, and there's like this rage, but also desperation. But yeah, Vizar's just like, oh man, I don't want this. This is really bad. Do
I see any signs of Adora?
go ahead and make a survival check for me. And Vizar's with you. He will give you the help action.
was a 17. 18.
18. You see the tracks, you followed a good distance, and as you're following, he's like, hey, get down, and like pulls you down, and you just kind of see flying out of field of view, like if you would take another step, just a broken branch and shrapnel of wood splinters into a nearby tree, and he pulls you down and tucks you behind this large log, and you both kind of like peek over and look, and you see Talos just moving through the space, just like shoving trees aside with all of his might. The one's big enough that he can't topple himself. He's like moving, like lifts up large rocks and just throwing them. You see he's like ripping up bushes that are frozen, berries and things falling off of them. He's just like digging through the muck and like lifting up old logs and looking, and he's just and you see he keeps looking up at the sky, and then he stops and just slams it back down, the log snapping into like a table, and he just keeps walking past you both. And I will say you don't need a stealth check because of how emotionally heightened he is at the moment, and his passives aren't even in play right now. But tucked down, he's just like, Vizar's like, what the fuck is going on? And you see Adora's tracks continue off where his was. He's doubling back, and you see her tracks lead into what looks like a nearby tree, and you look up. Go ahead and make a perception check for me. What was the stealth check? Do we have to roll a stealth check? Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
No, it's a 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna use inspiration.
Vizar's with you.
Oh.
At disadvantage. It's a 1.
I have an 11.
So I will say,
I clean
earlier
one.
his check to see you, I meant to ask you to roll stealth, but he rolled a 1 also on his perception check.
Well,
so that's why I didn't like
Here's the
have
thing.
you roll.
It's not a natural one.
It's not a natural 1, it's a 2.
It's
Okay,
a-
he got a nat 1 on his
Oh,
perception
technically
check.
it's a 3. It's a 3.
So it's
I thought it was a
-3.
-1. It's a 3.
Would you
Okay.
believe it was a 3?
Would you believe it was a 3?
And with your natural check of a 3, you do
I got an 11.
11 with the help.
Yeah.
Okay. You and Vizar, like you're like looking, and Vizar's just like kind of quiet because Talos is close but not nearby. He just kind of like does this, and he's like, when you listen out, and you can hear Adora crying, and you look up in the tree, and you like you can't see her, but you can hear her.
Copyright.
Yeah, draconic flight for 10 minutes. I go up and I fly up.
What does this flight look like? Is this just an arcane flight, or do you summon draconic wings, or?
I think, yeah, she'll summon her draconic wings, and they're like almost apparitions, and they just like spread out from her jacket. Her jacket actually almost becomes them.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
So, and then she'll fly up.
Yeah, you flying up, and you hear wings flying towards you, rather large wings. You see Vizar, he kind of like looks out and pulls a scale, and he casts fly himself, just kind of and, like hovers up, very X-Men mutant style,
That's
alongside you. And kind of like flies up into the tree and perches on a nearby branch, and you see Vivian kind of fly into frame and land on the branch.
I was just crying. Like, I'm not like heaving and hawing, but like there's tears in my eyes. They're running down my cheeks. They're freezing to my face because I can't stop. And all I'm saying is, I heard her. I heard her.
She just runs up and grabs hold. What happened? Are you okay? Did he hurt you?
I can't go back
Go back where?
home.
Why? What's going on?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
I just can't.
Who's hurt?
And I pause and I look at the stone in my hand. Or I pull out the stone and look at it again. Sandra. Sandra.
Is she okay?
And like, my face goes white.
Vizar's like, I'm gonna give y'all some space. I'm just gonna keep watching. stall.
Careful.
And he just kind of like drifts off up towards another tree and like gets up into the canopy. You see he like kind of holds like 3 scales in his hands, like kind of juggles them almost like dice and just kind of waits. But he's now out of earshot of the two of you to give you some privacy.
I'm just looking at stuff. And I'm like muttering things to myself. I heard. It was so clear, wasn't it? And I'm just like talking, and I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the stone in my hand, and just in a loop of incoherent nonsense to you.
I take your hand holding the stone. I'm gonna try and meet your eyes. What's going on?
And I'm shaking, and I'm not shaking. Just I can't tell you.
I can't. How?
Vivian,
What?
I physically can't do it.
Okay. Okay. How can I help?
Keep me from Talos.
She messages to Vizar that she's gonna fly Adora back to their house.
You say that, and Bowman just like, that message is sent. Kind of hear like the draconic overlay with common translation is to telepathically receive his response. He's like, yes, of course, smart idea. Fly safe, I'll meet you there. I just kind of want to keep an eye on him, and if he heads in your direction, I'll warn you. I'm gonna stay out of sight.
Get one of the elders if needed, or call Grandma. He seems unsafe.
If things get to that point, I will. He responds.
She takes you to safety.
You both take off into the cold air.
It's for 10 minutes, so.
Yeah, and the run and the distance, I think you just will make it back to like the edge of the grove and land either on the wall or in like the courtyard or something, as your wings kind of like deapparate. You kind of land there in the snow. We're gonna go to break. Hydrate! Feed yourselves! Buckle up! Shit's about to get crazy! Yeah! So, yeah, grab some snacks. Bio break.
We're in trouble.
Bio break. We'll be
They're in
back
fucking trouble.
after this.
Oh my
If I
god,
get-
I need.
Can we get a favor?
And we're back from break. And we're going to dive right back into the story. We are jumping to the Feywilds within the domain of delight of the Fate Weaver.
We're fine.
Are we?
You've walked in to this dense.
Trust me, she's a friend of the family.
It's interesting. Of all Feywild areas that you've been, this one, it's nowhere near as harsh or as sinister as like anything you've heard of in the Winter Court realm. But you see the network of silk stranded across, creating a canopy of pure silk. It looks like clouds above you. There are these strands that dip down like string that kind of like tickle the shoulder blades as you walk the top of your head. There's these large kind of woven braided sections that kind of dip in and out of the canopy like vines. And as you're walking through, you see large cocoons and you see moths swarming in numerous number. And you see Silk, who's just buzzing in front of you, leading you deeper and deeper and deeper into this section of the Feywild, into her mother's domain. And you both kind of feel this presence once you get within proximity. And you notice that the moths, as they begin to kind of flutter in front of you, they're kind of creating almost this wall of just wings. And you notice the underside are like very pale, monochromatic whites and grays, but their other side, it's like vibrant, bright, flower-esque colors, pinks, purples, blues. It's cool tones with vibrancy, and there's a rhythm. You kind of can almost make out this symphony of how they're flying and the pattern and weaving. And you see Silk just buzzes forward, and you see she goes and reaches up and grabs one of the strands dangling from the treetops above and just kind of like pulls it down into her hands, and she just kind of whispers into it. You see her antenna just kind of like wiggle a bit, and you watch as the moths just kind of just begin to open up in this large cone or column, if you will, creating this archway. And she buzzes forward within, and you both stand there, following on foot, as you watch as it just kind of, as it flutters closed behind you. It's silence. You don't hear the wind. You no longer smell really anything. And you have not met her mother. You've heard a lot about her. You know, Fae kids talk about their Fae parents, right? She's a sight to behold. This massive monarch moth entity who has maybe 2 or 3 sets of large pale wings coming off of her back, almost like a gown that she's wearing as she sits in one of the treetops. And you notice that she almost has the features of a humanoid, a human or an elf, right? Very elegant, gaunt features, long fey ears, and at the end of the ears you kind of see like earrings that are jeweled but almost look like silk that kind of come off down to the shoulders. You see her eyes are insectoid like her daughter's. They're just moth eyes where the humanoid pupils will be. She has antennae that kind of come out of the front of her face, and half of her mouth is, not half, but like where her lips are on her humanoid face, it's more moth-like mandibles. And you see she's just kind of sitting there very intricately weaving and braiding these strands, and does not really pay you much mind as you approach. And you see Silk flutters to the ground, and she just kind of gives like a nice bow with her extra arms and appendages kind of coming out to bow towards her mother. And you can sense with the clicking and clacking of her mandibles, like she verbally is now communicating with her. You see the mother kind of raises one of her many arms, and she continues to weave and braid. And you both wait there, and as she kind of goes and ties this section off, you watch as, like a network, these white streaks of light shoot up out through the strands in the tree and illuminate the canopy above. And you see some strands begin to fall, some break, you see some kind of tie into a knot, and you realize how it's all connected. And it's like a raindrop hit water above you. It ripples across with color. And you see it just kind of a pale white. And she just stands. You see she kind of like turns towards you both, and her eyes meet yours, and you hear in your minds her voice. And her voice echoes. It echoes with the reverberation of an immediate loved one. She does not really have her own voice. She's speaking to you through your memories. So you're hearing your friends, your parents, your siblings coming through your mind as she telepathically kind of bridges and reaches out. And you realize as she's walking, there are moths kind of carrying her wings so they don't drag across the ground, almost like, you know, in a fairy tale, like in a fairy tale wedding, like animals carrying a bride's dress as she walks down the tree in like a spider climb-like fashion, very elegantly stepping down. And you realize that her humanoid, she's like upper body humanoid torso that goes down to a large like moth-like thorax, and her legs are like a cross between humanoid and moth. And she just steps down very elegantly. And she stands at a good, I'd put her at like maybe 8.5 feet tall. She's very tall and slender frame, not very strong or built, very delicate. She looks like the right wing could catch her and she could just drift away. And you watch as like the silence that you're in just kind of gives way to sound as you kind of hear the Feywild around you. It's bringing some comfort. She's not ending the silence in this area. She's projecting this in your mind to try to give you some comfort. She knows, she can sense the innate Fey nature in you and how that's welcoming. You kind of get hints of home, like the Grove where you grew up. You kind of get those scents and things. The trees and everything kind of go into the background. It all becomes almost like you're walking through an illusion. She's kind of beginning to spin a comfortable setting as she approaches. Welcome to my domain. What brings you to me? And you see Sylph, she just kind of like giggles and like gives you both a thumbs up and like kind of flies up and goes and sits on a tree and lets her mom do the talking.
Well, literally, that one. Where am I? That point is so good. So literally, her.
Points to Sylph, she looks back at you and goes,
But I'm looking for Vizar.
are you looking for Pandemonium Prime or one of his many copies?
Technically two. Whoever's been through here, most recent, and the prime one.
She kind of looks back at you. Do you seek the same?
I'm fighting every urge that I have to not listen to Tom. So I am listening, and I just go,
You are no fool, Akanta. What do you offer for such information?
Unfortunately, I came here a bit of short notice. Potential info on some danger that may or may not be coming to the Feywild?
Would you be willing to part with these memories?
I mean, I still kind of need them for when I see my dad. But I can share?
Once I lay claim to a thought or memory, it is lost and woven into all others I have obtained.
Unfortunately, I still need all those.
You may speak.
what we offer, does it have to be, can it be physical?
Elaborate.
And I very hesitantly, like, reach into my bag and I kind of fiddle with it for a second, and then I pull out Zeke's Tiamat medallion and then also Zeke's dagger. I did not know this creature for very long, but my memories of him are fond. And if you need memories or like a physical aspect of memories, for this, your assistance, will this suffice?
Make a persuasion check.
Poor Zeke.
Okay, we're going to see him.
Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
19.
Once you've parted with these memories, they can never be regained or replaced. They will belong to me.
I think what we need help with is more important.
Do you accept my terms for the information you seek?
Sí, señora.
He just looks back at you. It's like, you see one of the hands reaches out, and it's like a moth-like humanoid. Like there's fingers, but it's like a moth-like arm, fuzzy. So almost regal. There's like a regal-esque, like queen, matron, monarch moth to it. She holds out one of her hands for the items you offer. She takes them, and you watch as she pulls the dagger out, and with another set of arms, she like reaches for the dagger and like looks at the amulet, and she holds them both taut in each of her hands, and you watch as all of the moths from the surrounding wall, well, not all of them, but some of them kind of begin to cluster around those items and begin to like quickly flutter around, and you're like losing visibility of the items as she's holding them. And you see where the items once were as the moths dissipate. 2 strands. You see she takes them and begins to weave them together into a simple, intricate little weaving. And she looks over near one of the trees, and she reaches up and pulls the strand down, and she begins to kind of weave them together and looks back at you, and you hear in your mind, you hear Zeke's voice come through as her own. She's like, are you sure about this? And as she ties it off and lets it go, this white light shoots up the strand into the canopy, another ripple across the way. And with this ripple, you have no memory of Zeke. He's gone from your memory. The items you gave up, you don't even remember. You just know that you offered something, and you know that something cannot be regained. And she stands there, just kind of like moves her shoulders a bit. With that offering, you must choose the pen that has traveled through these wilds most recently, or the second option. Forgive me, I don't remember what the second
Prime.
one was.
Prime.
Oh, Prime, okay. Or the Prime.
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 This is
Your father is currently in the Winter Court territories. Tensions have arose of a new scourge that has attacked both Winter and Summer Court lands. He's tasked with working with Winter Court Fae to deal with the common enemy.
Excuse me, what?
For more information, you will need to make another offering.
No, you look up information. It just does not make sense. Thank you for that.
She nods deeply with a respectable bow.
What do you think?
Goodbye.
You see she just kind of like tucks one of her wings and her arm comes out, and she just gives a nice, elegant bow. Travel safe. And you watch as kind of the moss on this domed area of the grove that like she's in. You see when she steps, it moves with her. And as you kind of reach the edge, you see Silk kind of buzzes back down to you both, and you watch as she kind of goes and tugs on a thread again, and all the moss open up for an opening to allow you both to exit.
Okay. That's oh boy.
I get like knows I'm kind of like crying, like
Just pat on back. Don't ask. Just trust me, it'll make it easier.
You see Silk is holding what looks like a wooden cup and like holds it out towards you. It looks like there's water within.
Don't take it.
Oh no, that experience can be quite disorienting. It's quite good to it's water. It's water. She just looks at you sternly back.
Makes me don't know how this works.
Unless you want to be a little off with your equilibrium for the next few days.
what did I lose?
I'm not gonna have to say it.
That's helpful.
Sorry,
You gave
it's
my
our
mom
rules.
one of your memories.
Oh fuck! What?
Well, that's the thing. Once you give it up, there's no getting it back.
I'll let you know.
I will say, well, go ahead, Tom. You
Well-
should probably say.
It was recent. It was short. There's, from what I know, gonna be no real long-lasting consequences.
And you did give it up willingly, and you had time to decide. You weren't forced into anything.
Did it? Well, we got what we wanted, right?
And about 1,000 more questions on top of it.
Always happy to help.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll see you both around. I'm gonna go buzz off. She just kind of like smiles and leaves you both as you're still within this like area in this domain. But
So what now?
We need more information. I'm gonna go to the most reliable source I know. I'm going home.
Like where? Like to your mom?
Yeah. Specifically, my sisters. My sisters.
Yo.
Let's go.
okay, so you both start heading in that direction. Cool. We are going to jump back to the grove. On the prime material plane. One moment.
We can stay in the Feywild.
Are you sure about that?
I'm very invested in what's happening in the Feywild.
The sisters, I mean.
The
come on.
sisters.
Sisters.
Whoa.
They're triplets.
They're triplets.
So we are
Like
now
fire.
inside of the
Oh.
Stormborn cave.
Yes. I
That is
forgot.
outside of the grove proper. It is on the lake shore, distanced a fair walking distance away. But you were both sitting within by the open fire, and are just still reeling with recent events. And Vizar has not returned yet, and he's not checked in. But he, said he would meet back when he could, and would warn if Talos was, coming.
To be fair, one's flying, one's on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, with the fly spell, he has a 60-foot movement speed, so tracking helps, because, dashing is 120 with use of the spell, and Talos on foot, even with difficult terrain, is maybe moving about 20 feet, halved, so dashing at 40 feet.
Oh yeah, he
So,
can outrun him.
he can, Talos is going around, you assume, going around, and Vizar's kind of, just flying along, or hovering up in the clouds, kind of out of sight.
We have a drone.
We have a drone.
A drone. Yeah, you have a sorceress drone now.
No.
Yeah, but you both are just kind of sitting there in silence.
I'm assuming there's like a fire of some sort.
Yes,
I'm just sitting there,
the fireplace.
and I've got my legs pulled up to my chest and my arms wrapped around them, and I'm just sitting there staring at the fire and being very quiet.
Coming from the kitchen, I bring 2 mugs of tea, handing you one.
I don't take it.
I set it down.
I'm just frozen.
I grab a blanket and just wrap it around you. know why he's here. He said something about family business, but he seems really upset and it's kind of scaring me. Vizar's still there, like, are we in trouble? Can you tell me anything?
After a long while, I just finally raise my eyes from the flames to meet yours. I can't.
Like, can't or won't?
Talos isn't gonna hurt anyone here. Except maybe me.
And that's okay.
He has every right to.
It just doesn't make sense.
I know. I turn back and I just continue looking at the fire.
You were saying some pretty scary things back there.
They weren't scary to me.
Have you heard of someone?
I heard her voice.
Heard. Through the stone?
Yes.
Well, that's good, right?
Yes.
Why are you surprised by that?
I like meet your eyes again. Do you remember the beach?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish we could go back there to that day. Do things differently.
Oh.
I would do things differently.
Okay. How? What do you mean?
I don't say anything. I just keep looking at the fire. And like the moment of like clarity and like now the lights are on and nobody's home. I'm lost somewhere back here in my brain. And I'm just reliving something that you can't see.
Adora, I can't help you. You don't let me in.
I don't say anything.
Do I hear anything outside?
Make a perception check.
Where's messages? Oh, it's plus 0 anyways. It's a 9.
9. No, other than, the weather and the wind. Nothing.
I used the stone to check in with Vizar. How are you? It's been a minute since I've heard from you. Are you okay?
You kind of hear like the of wind, even though like it's spoken through the stone, it's all picking up on some residual things. And he sounds like he's flying around. And you hear, yeah, things are he's doubling back completely to the grove, I think, and he's in a big rush, so kind of headed your way, but not really. I'm just following him from up here. He can't hear me. But yeah, just be on guard. He's in a fucking hurry. Are you both okay?
Yeah. still won't talk.
Oh, okay. Don't push too much, but I mean, any information is helpful because if I need to light his ass up, I will.
Okay. I'll let you know.
Okay. The message ends the sending, so nothing more comes through.
Talos is really upset and coming back. If we had any kind of information to just kind of, I don't know.
He's not gonna hurt anyone.
You keep saying that, but his actions are showing different.
He's just trying to take me back.
Why?
And then I start in this loop again. Do you remember the beach?
Yeah, I remember the beach.
Wish we could go back to that day.
You keep saying that, but I don't understand what you mean.
Would you do things differently?
Yeah.
And like, now I turn my whole head to like, really look at you. You would?
Yeah, there's some things that I wish I could change.
What would you change?
Leaving.
Did you mean what you said?
On the shores?
Yeah.
No. But I couldn't change why I said it. I still can't.
But it's not true.
No.
I just hold your gaze.
What's going on?
I did something. And someone got hurt.
Can I piece some things together?
I will say, go ahead and make an insight check, and then I will allow you to roll any of your charisma checks of intimidation, persuasion, deception.
That's okay. I rolled a 6 and it's a straight 6, so.
Okay. Well, you never know.
All of my charismas are -1. It was 1.
It was a 1.
For a total of
0.
Okay.
Okay.
What is Vivian able to grasp with what you're discussing? Like, what do you think she's able to ascertain by reading through the lines of like the current discussion? Like, do you feel like there's any assumptions that she can make, or is there any clues that Adora's trying to lead her onto without directly stating what Adora's trying not to address?
Nope, completely in the dark. Just kidding.
But that one says otherwise.
I think that, like, in this moment, Vivian is smart enough and she knows Adora well enough that, like, everything Adora's been doing or has said, it's about Sandra. She brought up Sandra. Seen her use the sending stone. She said she's heard her voice. She said something bad has happened. Talos wants her to come home. You can piece together that something bad happened. And somebody got hurt. And it was probably her little sister.
Is Sandra okay?
As I hold your gaze, tears well in my eyes. And they start to fall. And the only words I say are, she's gone.
What?
She's gone.
how could you wouldn't hurt her.
It's my fault. It's all my fault. And then I look at the stone and pull out the stone again and I look at it and I say, but I heard her. I heard her voice. She can't be gone, right? She can't.
What happened?
I was so mad at you. I was so mad at you. I did something so stupid. I put the stone down. I can't talk about it.
As you sit in this moment of silence, you see the tears on Adora's face begin to darken into crimson as they drop and pool on the floor. And you jump, startled, as you hear on the door. And you see Adora's just crying, tears of blood dripping to the ground. And you stand up, and as you stand up, kind of, you like see rippling your arms and hands, and you feel very disoriented, and you can smell the blood and like the iron like in the air. And again, you're on the outside of the door. Adora cannot respond. She seems to be so emotional in this moment. She is just incoherent, and you're trying to comfort her. There's a frustration, and then again, you're 3 knocks.
I get the door.
You get the door. The door comes flying open, and then slams shut. And you see your father there. You see Balthazar, his purple skin, her scales, scars, bow on his back, bow in hand, quiver on his back. He slams the door shut, turns it, and comes in angry and looks at you and goes, "If you do not act quickly, people are going to die." And he just kind of goes and braces towards the door. "You need to make a decision."
Where did you come from?
"I've always been lurking nearby, never too far away.
What is going on?
So much is happening. You need to be ready to do what must be done to protect those who you love.
What's going on?
You need to arm yourself," and he like gestures to your bow.
I grab my bow.
"Prepare yourself. You know what happened. You know what happened to Xandra. You know deep within what had happened, what Adora had been put through, what Talos is here to do. You know. I know you know. I raised you to know, to read these signs, to be ready to act. You need to protect the one you love at any cost. Any cost. You must be merciless. There's no room for mercy. If you hesitate, you'll regret it the rest of your life." And he like goes towards the door. You see he knocks an arrow on his bow at the ready. And you're disoriented still. You're like stumbling and you're looking around, and he's covered in blood. The room is a mess like it wasn't before. Like there had been a battle. There's broken glass. Outside, you hear screams and what sounds like fighting. You are so confused and disoriented in this moment. And you see Adora there just on her knees from where you were talking, crying and sobbing. And the pool around her is just getting bigger, like it's going to just swell up and consume her. And he looks back and goes, "Are you ready?"
I'm ready.
"Okay, be ready." And he looks and the door bursts open. It fades out. Adora, you come reeling. You see Talos bursting through the doorway, clutching Vizar by the throat, dragging him through the ground, throwing him into the wall. You see he goes and casts a spell and repels him against the wall with some magic. I need you both to roll initiative. Balthazar disappears from sight. The blood is gone. And you feel your hex move to Talos as that magic seeps into him and his veins darken. Do. Alrighty.
This should be very interesting.
So, initiative. Alright. Above 20.
23.
23. So Vivian is going to be starting us off.
Yeah, girl.
23.
What did you get?
19.
19. Adora, you will go next. Followed by... Let's see, we got
He's
Vizar.
dragging Vizar in? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he's sharing a shot.
So, Vizar being GM number 2, GM number 1 being Talos, bringing up the rear of initiative. So, Vivian, your hex is in place already, preemptively, innately cast, reactionarily, to this bursting through the diaphragm of the door. They're both bleeding, splintered by wood and cuts. Your brother's pelting him with different magics and is like using an arcane shield around himself as Talos goes and picks up furniture and throws it at him, and it breaks across his arcane shield. You have your bow in hand at the ready. And for you, Adora, you're crying and you look up and you see Vivian's braced bow in hand at the ready. Before this happened, you had a moment to look up and she wasn't in front of you anymore and you're confused and you see her almost drawn in at the ready to go. So yeah, what do? It's your turn.
I shoot my bow, and as I shoot my bow, an eldritch blast goes through it
Okay.
at Talos.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
Oh my god, another 19. 23.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage and add hex to it. Hex damage, which is the extra D6.
Okay.
He has disadvantage on strength checks right now.
It's a 2 plus, you said a D6?
Are we so glad we split the party?
5.
5. This eldritch blast, as you shoot it off of your bow, just impacts him, and he looks up angry, and the arrow's kind of there in the darkened veins upon the impact, and the hex kind of coagulates the blood as it drips out from the wound, and he snaps the arrow off, throwing the back piece of it to the ground. Just roars out, just roaring in pain and anger. Anything else for your turn? You still have movement around the space, and
I moved
technically
in
a bonus
front of.
action.
I moved in front of Adora, protectively,
Okay.
and no, that's it.
All right, Dora, now your go.
So I watch Vivian shoot Talos with an arrow and hit him. And move in front of me to protect me. And I just shout out, "Don't hurt him! I can't lose him!"
Did I hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's gonna hurt you.
That's
He's
fine.
hurting my brother.
Protect your brother, but don't. I can't lose him. He's my brother.
Okay.
And then I pause and say, he's all I have left. And then I'm gonna hold my action until Talos attacks, and then I will protect Vivian. That'll be the thing I do. But I'll be doing everything non-lethally till Talos.
Okay. Okay. That's your turn. Going to Vizar's turn. Vizar, he goes out and summons like a fistful of flame and just gonna firebolt him from across the room. He firebolts him. You see Talos fucking takes the brunt of the flames and like casts off his cloak as the cloak starts to burn, kind of like showing his like torn and dirty shirt and tunic, and he was wearing some pelts, but they also catch fire, and he just throws them off, and he just kind of looks out, and you see Vizar's like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? Is like looking at you both talking to each other, and
Don't hurt him.
oh, okay, and you just see like goes like rummages for another scale, puts the red one back into the pouch, pulls out another one, and kind of takes more of an arcane defensive position with his stance. Ends his turn, not doing any movement, going to Talos. Talos's go. He's already in a rage. He's going to see Vizar, see you. You just shot him. Looks at Vizar, who's now kind of playing more defensively, sees you beside Vivian, goes and grabs another piece of furniture, going to try to throw it in your direction. So I'm 1 minute. I'm gonna say dex save on this. It's not it's not gonna be an attack roll. It's just gonna be a dex save for the both of you to dodge out of the way. Or no, I'm sorry. This is a d6. That's not a roll. Not an attack roll.
17.
17.
5.
6 total.
Okay. Yeah, you see this large, like, it picks up what looks like part of like a dresser that was just on the side, and just kind of lifts it up over, and the drawers kind of spill out parchment, random items, knickknacks, other things can even spill out. So one of the drawers falls out of it as he lifts it over his head, just and hucks it in your direction. And you got a 17. You duck. You are being protected. You kind of like are shoving Vivian out of the way, and the dresser impacts you, and it splinters into pieces. So you are going to take some damage. You are hit by it, but you saved, so you're only going to take half damage.
Fucking hell, guys.
How we doing, fam? How we doing?
Stress.
The end of the D's, the end of the D's.
Hey, Jeff, here, Mercy, right home.
So what would have been 10 points of damage is reduced to 5. You take 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm
as
unconscious.
You're
shatters.
unconscious?
Adora
I jumped
lies
off a wall earlier.
motionless. Basically on top of you almost, as you kind of like pull some of the boards and random things that were on top of you away, and he begins to move towards the two of you using his movement. He just like moves like whatever piece of furniture that's blocking his way, slides it into the wall, and just keeps walking towards you, and that ends his turn. It's now your turn.
Leave her alone, like, stop.
You can see now that he's closer, he also has tears streaming down his face, and it's like a uncontrollable shaking anger. Not too dissimilar kind of what was going on with Adora, but this is this temper. It's just unbridled rage. You're speaking to him, you don't think your words are getting through to him right now. Or at least he's not in the space to receive them. I'll say that with like a passive insight on him.
I try and use Mind Sliver to try and get him to hear.
Okay. And this is a saving throw?
Yeah.
Okay.
12 intelligence.
12 intelligence. That's a natural 1. So,
And it's not so much aggressive as it is to like try and pierce through his consciousness and like get him to listen. So kind of like shake him out of, is that cool, or does Mind Sliver still have to like?
unfortunately, the spell
Okay.
kind of has to function at the base level of what the spell can do.
Okay.
I will say, so I will say this. This is a spell. You have Hex on it. He rolled a nat 1. He's going to receive an injury from this.
Okay.
So I need you to roll the damage,
Okay.
and then he's going to receive a critical injury from it because he critically
Oh
failed.
no.
And depending on what that is, it could have helped. But like, this is completely up to the dice.
Okay.
I'm gonna have
Great
you roll
It's 3 damage.
with hex, extra d6,
It's 5 damage.
5 damage. Okay. Okay, and then go ahead and roll 1d10 for me.
Adora's last words, don't hurt him! Just Vivian's like, critical injury.
No. 7.
As the mind sliver takes effect in his mind, he starts bleeding from his nose, and he takes the damage. It's like the hex darkens his neck and his head through his like short
How do
hair.
I take hex off of him?
You can try to end concentration on hex. It is a concentration spell. You can drop that.
I want to drop that.
Okay, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me because you weren't the one that cast hex on him.
And of course, it's a +0.
12. You're fighting through it, and like you feel this aggression. It's this. You're trying to protect. You're trying to defuse the situation, but the way your father manifested in front of you and what he said, the words are kind of playing back in your head. You're like fighting through that, and you were able to kind of pull your magic back enough, and you see the veins kind of darken, but as they darken and hex and concentration ends, and so you drop the spell, and he's no longer hexed. However, he does still suffer the injury, and you see he's like bleeding from his eyes and his nose, and he's like bleeding out of his ears, and he just starts projectile vomiting, and he's got the poison condition of his critical injury through brain trauma. And he's sick. Like he's just sick, and his body is attacking itself, and he's very vulnerable right now. And that's his injury, which yes.
Does that bring us out of combat?
That's what I was gonna check, because I was gonna assume. I think he just gains the poison condition, but can still fight. Yeah.
Then we
You
could-
out there.
He still fight through it. He's just got the poison condition, which means he's got disadvantage.
On everything.
Mm-hmm.
Good news. Bad news.
And he has minus a d4 to a saving throw, mind sliver,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit a little bit harder than you hoped for. But anything else for your turn?
Trying to use your scalpel and the hammer.
She talks to Vizar. Try and heal Adora if you can.
He's like, that's funny. Yeah, I got something, I think. And he's like panicking himself, like he's really overwhelmed, high stress in this moment, but trying to keep his shit together, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's seeing some things too.
Yeah. What's going on? Like literally siblings fighting each other to like
Yeah.
the death, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, so does that end your turn? Alright, Adora. I need you to make a death saving throw, and before you roll, what is a memory that flashes before Adora's consciousness, in unconsciousness, as you're kind of in that in between, as the spirit is attempting to shed the mortal coil?
I'm on a cliff, and I am just like punching rocks to like work out. I don't have my armor on. I've just got my hand wraps on, and Vivian comes up, and it's just flashes of this day. But I'm laughing and she's laughing and teasing me, and in a moment of complete spontaneity, Vivian leans in and kisses Adora. And it's Adora's first kiss. And that's the memory that is flashing before Adora's eyes.
Go ahead and roll a d20 for me. Death saving throw.
Not toy, come on.
It's a 7.
That's one failure. Alright. It is now Vizar's go. Vizar, he's panicking, he's searching through all his things, he's like his skills, he's like, I don't heal things. My draconic sorceries, I don't even have a potion or anything. Do you have anything? I don't have anything. Like, he runs over, like, by you all now, and he like looks at Talos, he's like, stand the fuck down, and you see like, like arcane flame kind of ignites, and he's charging up a spell, and he's holding.
Wait, don't I have one more?
Healer's kit?
Yeah, I have a
Not
healer's kit. Yeah.
You stabilizer.
Do you surrender that over to Vizar? Okay, Vizar's like, okay, and then he takes it from you, and he like starts taking everything out. With this, he's not proficient in a healer's kit, so he makes a medicine check.
Nope, just stabilizer.
It just stabilizes. Because if you're proficient, it's a
Yeah.
medicine check, and then
No, if you don't have a healer's kit, you make a medicine check.
DC
10, I believe. Just stabilize.
Oh, okay.
So in
That's
this
what it
case,
is.
if you just have a kit, they're stabilized, they're 0 hit points, unconscious.
Mhm.
They're no longer making death saves.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So he runs over, pulls everything out. He like goes, like tries to like bind up some of the wounds, like dab up some of the blood and everything. He's like pulling out bandages, like tearing it with like a sharpened kind of draconic fangs in his mouth. He's like wrapping you up and like goes and he literally starts chest compressions. He's like listening and like he's like looking back at you, concerned. Talos is just getting closer and closer. Like he's standing up and vomit down his entire like vomit blood. Like he's a fucking mess. But he's still tears. His eyes are bloodshot at this point, and he's still intent. Like he's finding his stance and climbing back up to his feet. But he does spend his action dropping the held spell to stabilize you. So you are no longer making death saves. As he's sitting there, just chest compressions, like listening. He's just like making sure your airway's clear. Like he's throwing random clutter that's in the way out of the way.
That gets you to be able to heal yourself, hopefully.
No, I'm unconscious.
You're stabilized.
I'm stabilized, but I'm not awake.
No, yeah, not conscious. You like need healing for that. It is Talos' go, and Talos
Not currently dying.
Talos is closing the distance, and he comes up towards you, and he's going to make unarmed strikes against you, 2 of them. The first one, he goes and swings, and he comes down with this heavy impact, and you kind of like jump out of the way. With a nat 1, you hear a crack as his fist hits the ground in the stonework, and it splinters. And he like raises it up, and you just see him make a fist again, and he just pops his like knuckles back into place. And he wildly reaches out and tries to grab you for a grapple. And with a unnatural 20, what's your AC? 15? He grabs you into a grapple and like puts you into a headlock, and you are grappled by him. And that ends his turn, and is now your turn again.
I don't want to hurt you.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
He's poisoned. So his first strike, misses. He goes for the grapple. With disadvantage, he misses the attack roll. So you dodge out of the way again as he tries to go to like bear hug you. That ends his turn because he is poisoned. And so now you're going.
I don't want to hurt you. I know you're hurting. You're gonna kill her.
You see, he's just like, I mean, it's like you're in the middle of battle and like you're screaming out towards him, and again, he's not coherent whatsoever. He's unrelenting in his advance.
I have to like rack him. I'm not killing him.
You can knock him out.
I'm knock him out.
Got a sword or something? Pummel strike.
Shit. I've got. Yeah, unarmed strike, breath weapon. I'm not using that.
Blind his ass up with some lightning.
But
That's
it's
what that is, the
lethal.
lightning. Right. Yeah.
I don't want to be lethal. I
You
want to
might
do
be
non-lethal.
I'd say your best bet for non-lethal is probably going to be any form of bludgeoning damage, or if you have any magic that maybe does like force damage, I can give you that. Magic is really tough because like you're harnessing an energy and focusing it in a way that's done
Berserk.
specifically.
Savage.
Here I thought we were just gonna go in 5 minutes to be out. We're good. Well, technically, it's still probably gonna be 5 minutes for us.
Yeah.
Eat my stress chips.
Alarm? Does that alarm others in the area?
That's like if you're making camp, you like set an arcane
Okay.
trigger, and like if someone trips a
It's like a
tripwire,
tripwire.
yeah, it's like a you know, an alarm, a magical alarm would sound.
Okay. No, I'm gonna try and. I can't grapple this guy.
You can certainly try.
I can try and make it so while he's throwing up, he's got blood in his eyes, probably can't see well. I'm gonna try and like do a fishnet kind of grapple in a sense, like try and restrain him so I can like kind of make him stumble down so then at least I can like try and work with my brother to try and get him tied up or something. So
are you trying to grapple him or trip him? You could do either. There's a trip action which would knock him prone.
trip and restrain though. So I wanna restrain him.
So I will say with your action, you could do
Yeah.
a trip and then interact with object. You could like grab some rope or something and like you couldn't tie him up, but you could start the process. It would be like a contested kind of like a grapple off essentially, where like he's trying to resist you and you're trying to like get it bound and
Okay,
like,
yeah,
tie
let's
him
do
down.
that.
Okay, so first is a trip action, which I believe is an attack roll now, right?
Roll a hit.
Yeah, roll a hit.
Hit.
You hit his AC. He's knocked prone.
You know, he has to make a save.
Okay, which
Roll
he has
a
minus a
hit.
D4 on from Mind Sliver.
Which it would be an unarmed strike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Inspiration!
Well, he's poisoned, so don't you have?
No, he has disadvantage.
He has disadvantage. Okay. Inspiration
I'm
is
using
being
an
used.
inspiration.
Well, kill.
13.
13, unfortunately, is not gonna hit. Yeah, okay. So you go and you try to trip him, and as you go to like trip and like kick at his kneecap, try to make him buckle, it's like hitting a fucking statue.
Okay.
And like you kind of almost hurt yourself as you kind of bounce back from it, like catch your footing and like grab on the edge of furniture, and, like push yourself back up onto your feet. Anything else? You got some movement, technically in melee range right now. You see Vizar's over Adora, having stabilized her, and is like looking up at like the both of you facing off as you're like kicking off of him. And he's like swinging, and you're dodging. He's going to grapple, and you go kick him in the leg again, and like all the meanwhile, I want to make it clear that you are verbally attempting to try to diffuse the situation. He's just blatantly not.
Fuck! I don't like you.
What?
Okay. I'm gonna. If I move, then he's got an opportunity.
If he uses his reaction, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna move back towards Adora and Vizar, protectively, with my guard up.
Okay. Backing up back towards them, because I imagine theater of the mind, right? Like y'all are moving through the space, and he's like fighting. You're like fighting back, right? It will provoke an attack of opportunity, so he's going to take that opportunity attack,
Okay.
which he has disadvantage on. As a 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits. So as you go to back up, he goes and he grabs you
Okay.
as his reaction, which ends your turn.
Yeah.
Adora, you're stabilized, so you're not making a death save, so you're good. it goes to Vizar's turn. Vizar's like, let her go, and goes and he's
Vizar
going to
kicks
cast. He pulls out another dragon scale, looks like a greenish scale, and you see like he goes and like smoke begins to billow out, and he goes and he's going to cast Hold Person on Talos, who makes a saving throw, which he gets minus a d4 from. Can you roll a d4 for me?
Yeah.
For Mind Sliver?
Yeah. 3.
3. So as the green smoke billows out from his hand, and this cloud like goes as he's got you grappled, you see he tenses up, and he and, like the smoke inhales into his system, and he's paralyzed as Vizar's like concentrating on Hold Person, and you are no longer grappled.
Okay.
And you notice that like a bit more blood kind of comes out of the nose, and the last little remaining bit of Mind Sliver takes effect. He's just there, paralyzed in place. It would be his go. He is paralyzed. I think he gets another save on the end of his turn for Held Person. He fails, so he remains paralyzed. Vivian, it's your turn.
I'm gonna look to see if there's like chains or if there's anything to kind of get him restrained for like permanently.
Yeah. Go ahead and make an investigation check or perception check.
Okay. Oh my god. Do I have another inspiration left?
You used one, and let's see, you had. Let me check. Oh, inspiration tracker. You have one left.
Okay. I'm burning my last one.
Alright.
17 plus 3,
30, 20.
20.
Okay, looking over, you do find what looks like some rope that's hanging on the wall, or like, actually I think there's some rope that's like maybe come out of a climber's kit that was in a drawer, that was in the dresser, that was like on the floor scattered, and you're like just fucking throwing shit around, and you grab it, pull it out, kind of untwine it, and you got it now. Still have the rest of your turn.
I'm
That was an
tying him
interactive
up.
object. Okay, so go ahead, and as you're tying him up, let's see.
And I asked for help from my brother.
Okay, sure. Yeah, boom, yeah. Back to back, and the door's stabilized. So I'll say, with the help action from Vizar, that you managed to tie him up, and he's bound, and you see he's just like, he's fighting through it, but he's paralyzed at the moment with the use of Held Person. And you see Vizar's like sweating, and he's concentrating on it, he's trying to help you, and like, he's breathing heavy, and there's a arcane, there's a dragon scale, the green dragon scale that's floating in his hand. He's like concentrating on it and using his other free hand to help you tie him up. And it's spinning rapidly. But as you're like tying him up, you feel a warmth. You see light kind of refracts off of the horizon over as dawn crests over the mountains and reflects off the lake and the ice. You actually see sunlight. And with sunlight, you just feel this presence, this chilling presence. Like you're exposed to the elements, but this is different. It feels like death and decay, and you see Talos he's paralyzed, he can't speak, and you see like the panic in his eyes, and you see this mist kind of move out from the lake shore. And you see the stone where he cracked the ground just splits, and you see what look like these ethereal hands kind of reach out and grab him. And he's like, and he can't say anything, but he's pulled into the ground as the stones around him, and you and Vizar like back up instinctually as the ground consumes him, and these hands are there. And go ahead and make a religion check for me.
What the fuck? What was he into? Nat 20, 23.
Nat 20. As you glimpse through the cracks, you were raised in Theros, you know of the many gods that dwell there. Aetherios, the god of passage. You know many heroes, villains, characters and stories who go on journeys in Theros will often pray and worship Aetherios for passage in and out of the underworld and realms between realms. You think his tithe has come due as the sun has risen, and you assume that he's being reclaimed by this underworld god of Theros and taken back to Theros. His time spent as the ground crumbles around him and he's suffocated by stone. And Vizar's like drops the spell and drops the scale and backs up overwhelmed seeing this happen. And you're standing there and Adora's there and you see she's breathing stable and the floor just goes back to the way it was, where the crack, like that kind of spider-webbed crack on the ground. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. As we are no longer in initiative, Adora unconscious, both you and your brother in one piece, Armand and Akhenaten lost to the wind.
Well, I know exactly where I'm going.
In another realm, in the Feywilds, chasing down Panda.
I'm gonna cry.
GG's everyone, thank you so much for watching. Very charged session. Thank you so much, we really appreciate it. Stay tuned next time for more. Yeah. GG's.
And we have next week off.
Until next time.
You.